Well, Happy New Year, guys. It's 2022. We've crossed that threshold, so I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to a lot of new things and upcoming projects for this year. It's going to be a busy year for me, so I want to jump on here and give kind of like a beginning of the year appropriate video. And I don't know if you can hear the sound of raindrops on the roof, but right now where I live, we're like in a winter snow watch. We got light sleet, rain. So if you hear any like background noise, it's either the wind that's blowing at 40 miles an hour or sleet hitting the roof. So it's kind of wintry here. So I don't know. As I've said before, I'm kind of used to it, not being from the South originally. Which leads me to what I want to talk about this month is one thing that I do personally that helps me cope with cold weather and winter weather is, well, first off, let's see if we can do this again. Dress appropriate. Yeah, I will put on layers of clothes, and I like to get outside when it's cold and dreary, which a lot of people here where I live call me crazy because it could be 20 degrees and I'll be outside walking in the cold rain. And the reason why I do this is because getting outside in the elements helps acclimate me to the elements, as opposed to staying inside avoiding the elements. So by becoming acclimated, it helps me get in the habit of getting outside and exercising and being active during this time of year. Like I've already gotten my first ride in for this year. I started out riding when it was 38 degrees a couple weeks ago. When I got home, it was 46. Of course, I have my winter biking gear on, which I'm not going to get into for this video, but I do want to talk about something we all want to learn and start at the beginning of every year, and that is habits. So, since I'm inside, I'm going to go ahead and do away with that. Don't need all those layers on. But habits is what we all try to form at the beginning of the year. And some of them we want to do better. Sometimes we just want to get rid of our bad habits that we have, whether it's eating too much, being sedative, watching too much TV, being on our phones. We all have bad habits. One of my writing friends posted on her social media this past week a quote from a speaker author whom I'm not familiar with, but his name is Greg Olson, and the quote was this: "There are two kinds of habits: those that serve us and those that don't." So we have habits. So this month I want to talk about habits, because it's really, there's lots of science to it that's really above my pay grade, so I'm going to have to call on some help during this video. But habits, back in the old days, the idea was that it takes 68 weeks to form a habit, something that's routine, something that becomes involuntary, something we don't have to think about. Now for me, in the exercise sphere, the idea is it takes 6 to 8 weeks to get into a good exercise routine and form good exercise habits, which I know a lot of people at this time of year are wanting to learn. Unfortunately, a lot of people just don't have the persistence. They get like in a week or two in, and they're just like, oh, I just can't do it, I give up. The problem is they don't get into that 6 to 8 week range to create the habit, which nowadays the new information they got coming out says it's more like 9 to 12 weeks. But the idea basically, it doesn't take a long time. You just have to stick with it for, I'd say, a minimum to 6 to 8 weeks. That's why when I work out, I do 8 week workout cycles. I do one workout cycle for 8 weeks, take a week off for that 9th week, and then I'll come back and do another 8 week cycle, completely different workout. That way, my body doesn't get used to it. My body doesn't get adapted to that routine. So it doesn't work, because I want to challenge my body so I grow. I want to challenge my muscles so they'll grow. So I like changing it up. And halfway through those routines, I will take the process and reverse it. I do what's called a drop set instead of a pyramid. First 4 weeks I pyramid. I go up in the weight and down in the reps. The second 8 weeks I go down in the weight with less time between sets. That's called, I'm not going to get, that's a drop set, and that's not what this video is about. But the point of the drop set is it breaks up our routine. It keeps our exercise workout from becoming routine and habit forming, which means it's easy. I know the general concept is people want a workout that's easy or fun. That just defeats the purpose. The whole point of working out, hence the reason why we call it work, is to challenge ourselves. So by challenging ourselves, we need these new habits. Habits are created by repetition. They're created by perseverance. And it's real neat. It's real weird because we already have habits. Whether it's the time you get up every day, how late you stay up every night, what you like to eat, what you like to drink. You have a habit. You have habits. So you know how to create a habit. And I'm gonna get into something right now that I hope I don't offend people when I say this, but I'm sure I will. But right now we're about 104 weeks into this pandemic. And I still see people saying, "Oh, I can't wear. I don't want to wear a mask. Can't get used to it." I'm a big masker just because my brain injury, and I don't want to get sick and risk seizing out. So I've got a couple of my masks here. Here's one. This mask. If it takes 6 to 8 weeks minimum to form a habit. So, like I said, we're 104 weeks into this pandemic. So if you would wear your mask for 6 to 8 weeks, it's nothing. This is right. Wearing a mask, or this is a little bit more patriotic. Wearing a mask is simple as easy as forming a habit, getting used to it. Granted, I don't wear mine when I'm doing like running or biking because I don't want to risk decreasing my oxygen intake and having a stroke. But when I'm lifting weights, working out at the gym, yeah, I'm wearing a mask. And lately, I will even go out and double mask. I wear a mask like this with another triple layer mask underneath it. Even though I'm vaccinated and boosted, still with the surge going on. And the thing is, I've done it worn for so long, it's a habit. I'm used to it. It was a habit I personally wanted to form to help protect me and to help protect others. I know a lot of people go, "Oh, this is what the science says." Science, and I hate to use this word as a Christian, but science evolves daily, moment by moment. That's where we get the the idea behind evolution is because it evolved. Things evolve. With COVID-19, it's new. We've all had, all the scientists and doctors, everybody's had to learn on the fly. So, of course, it's going to evolve. It's not that people were wrong. It's not that people didn't know what they're talking about. It's not that Fauci was trying to deceive people. It's not that the government's trying to control people. It's just science evolves. That's just how life works. Is people don't. The problem is people don't want to evolve. People don't want to learn. They just want those habits that they have to stay the same. They don't want to change those habits. So right now is not only a good time to change your habits for the new year, it's a good time to change your habit for the duration of this pandemic. Trust me, I mean, it becomes second nature. Wearing a mask will become second nature, just like any other habit. The interesting thing behind habit forming, and I find it interesting because I have a brain injury, is because what we call muscle memory and automatic responses, entire involuntary actions, they're all habits, and they all form in the brain. Now, I can't really get all the technical jargon down. I mean, you see I have a speech impediment, so I'm afraid that if I try to say all these scientific names and all that, it'll just come out tongue twisted. So I'm going to ask some help. Hopefully you can hear it. Hey Google, where does your brain form habits at?
Sorry, I don't understand, but I found something related. Do you want to know where does the human brain sit?
No. Even Google's can't get this right. Hey Google, what part of your brain forms habits? Hey Google, what part of your brain forms habits?
Prefrontal cortex. On the website npr.org, they say, neuroscientists have traced our habit-making behaviors to a part of the brain called the basal ganglia, which also plays a key role in the development of emotions, memories, and pattern recognition. I also found an answer to this question. How are habits formed? Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
According to wikipedia.org, habit formation is the process by which a behavior, through regular repetition, becomes automatic or habitual. A habit may initially be triggered by a goal, but over time that goal becomes less necessary and the habit becomes more automatic.
Okay, so let me break it down for you like this. There's a part of your brain called the basal ganglia. So if you like cooking, basil. Ganglia is like, I don't know, gangrene, but it's in the front part of your brain, which, interesting enough, I'm missing this side, the right side of my frontal lobe, which was cut out. That's where we form the habits. So when you hear people talk about in the gym, talk about muscle memory, it's not the muscle memory in it. It's just your brain gets reprogrammed to do these actions the more you do them. So a good exercise habit is being consistent. Do the work. Even when you don't feel like it, do the work. If I only worked out when I felt like it, I would never go to the gym. Like today, I will probably, even though it's going to be in upper 30s, cold, rain, and sleet, I will walk 3/4 of a mile to my local gym and do like a 2 3/4 mile run inside. Even though I don't feel it, again, that kind of acclimates me to it. And I want to emphasize that when I get to the gym, all my layers I use outside come off. I do not run in lots of layers to try and sweat because I want to create internal heat, and that comes from getting your heart rate up. You don't need to put 3-4 layers of hoodies and all that while you're exercising to get hot. What that does, it creates pre-exhaust, and pre-exhaustion, is when your body overheats before you actually reach peak activity. Whereas the cardio's primary goal is to get your heart rate up in your target heart rate zone, your max heart rate. When you have lots of layers on, you overheat. Your body warms up faster before you ever get into that target heart rate zone, max heart rate zone. Basically, you kind of defeating the purpose by cheating. Oh, I wanna get hot and sweat, but you're not really doing the work. You're not getting the maximum benefit. So, and the more you do that, the more that becomes a habit. So it's best just to, bust your butt, do the work. Now, whether it doesn't necessarily become easier, but it becomes more of a habit. You do get used to it. I mean, I've been running now for over 6 years doing hit runs. Some days are easier than others, but I like pushing myself. This time of year is harder because I have this big, thick beard on my face, so it traps the heat, which, like I said, just like with the hoodie and all that, I get hotter faster. But I push through still until I get my heart rate up where I want it because I'm doing cardio. And that's why I think a lot of people don't succeed at their New Year habit of exercise, because they go to the gym with all these clothes on, they pre-exhaust themselves without ever getting the maximum benefit of doing cardio, just because it will exhaust you. Wearing all those clothes will exhaust you. I cannot run in anything more than a tank top or like a runner singlet. I just bought a brand new runner singlet that I'm using this year. It's basically a sleeveless shirt with a lower cut neck, and it's really, really thin material that breathes real good, and it wicks sweat off. And I have to be in shorts. I can't even work out in gym pants or exercise, just because I get hot and it exhausts you. So a lot of people get exhausted before they actually do the work to get the benefit. And that's one of those habits that don't serve you. You want to have a habit that does serve you. Cardio makes your heart stronger, which increases your metabolism, which causes you to burn more calories, which lowers your risk of, the stronger your heart gets, the lower your risk getting heart disease or having a stroke. And that's the primary reason why I run, because by me doing these hit intervals, running with that wide open at 12 to 13.5 miles an hour for short distances, that gets my heart rate up, which oxygenates my blood more, which gets more oxygen to my brain, which lowers my risk of having a stroke or a seizure. That's why I wear one of these, a smartwatch fitness tracker. I'm a Samsung fan. I'm anti-Apple, so I have a Samsung Galaxy Watch. So when I get done running, even while I'm running, I can look and see where my heart rate's at. And while I get done running, I can see on my phone where my heart rate maxed out at. Like I ran yesterday, I think it maxed out at 172, which for my age, my max heart rate should be right around 173. So I'm there. Which I've gone to the gym and worked out for my heart rate, because I'm so focused on working out, and I'm not stopping, talking to people, I'm not watching TV, I'm not playing on my phone. My heart rate will get up to like 202. I think last Friday it was 202 beats per minute. This past Friday was like 199. But that's a good habit that will serve you. Don't go to the gym, waste time talking, playing on the phone, watching TV, which that is one of the most confusing things to me about putting TVs in gyms. I understand the original idea was for people to be distracted while they're working out, but instead of being distracted, that becomes the focus of a lot of people's workout. I'm gonna go to the gym, I can watch the game, and then they put on all the clothes, barely move, and they never do cardio. They never do a good workout. That is one of those habits that don't serve us. And the problem is, every time you go to the gym, you do that, and then you don't see that you're losing the weight. You're not getting the results you want from exercising. That's because you've formed a bad habit, and it's not serving you. Which is the neuroscience of it is just amazing. And I bring that up because now it's going on. Let me think if I can add 20. It's going on 26 years since I had my accident. And because of that accident, when I had my brain injury, I had to change up my habits. I couldn't do the things I used to do. I mean, before my accident, I worked out kind of like for superficial reasons, just going with the guys to the gym, working out to be seen. I wasn't into working out like I am now. I wasn't doing it for the real health benefits. I was mainly doing it for superficial reasons, and to be honest with you, I was going to see the women in the gym. I mean, I was a college kid in my early 20s. You know, I used to drink, used to go out. I believe it or not, I used to smoke. I smoked for 6 years from high school to college. I smoked. You name it, I smoked. I hung out with a lot of Asian friends, so I smoked a lot of BDs, which are like little Indian cigarettes, cloves, which are really, if you cook with clove, it's got that clove taste. You can actually smoke cloves, and it'll leave like a sweet, tangy taste on your lips. I smoked cloves, and I even tried smoking pot a few times, which just made me sleepy, so I didn't like it. Those were bad habits that didn't serve me. Drinking 7 days a week didn't serve me. So after my accident, I had to learn new habits. And when I was in rehab, a lot of the habits, one of the habits that my physical therapist taught me was how to actually work out my legs, to strengthen my legs properly so I could walk again. Like, one of the things that I learned in rehab 26 years ago was it's okay to do lunges, but do it with light weight. Because if you do heavy weight, every time you rock, you wear your meniscus and your ACL out. And eventually, over time, you get small tears and they tear. Which is a real bad side effect of working out improperly. So she taught me to use light dumbbells when I did lunges, and doing calisthenics was just basically use your own body weight against the wall. That's how I started out working out my legs. And for 20 plus years, that was my focus for working out, was building my legs up so I could walk and be normal. So all this that went on in my brain when I was in my early 20s was part of me learning new habits that would form me, that would help me. Habits that served me instead of those bad habits that I had in my teens and early 20s that didn't serve me. And sure enough, one of the interesting things that happened is during that 11 months while I was going through rehab and in the hospital, basically learning how to live again, I couldn't smoke, obviously, so I didn't smoke. So that's 11 months. That was what? Over 44 weeks that I didn't smoke. And after I got to the hospital, I was living on my own and went to church. And I met a friend who liked to go out dancing. So she and I went out dancing one night, and I couldn't get into it. So I borrowed a cigarette from another friend, and I smoked a cigarette that night. That was 1999. I'll never forget the next morning. The next morning, I woke up and I was just like licking my lips. What is that nasty taste? I went to the bathroom. I was brushing my teeth, brushing the inside of my lips, trying to get the taste off. What is that nasty taste in my mouth? And then it hit me. That was nicotine. That was what I had become so used to putting in my body and in my mouth that I couldn't taste it, I couldn't smell it. So 1999 I decided that habit wasn't serving me, so I put down cigarettes then. I have not smoked another cigarette or anything. I need to clarify, anything since. And also for during those 11 plus months that I was in the hospital, I couldn't drink. Of course, I didn't smoke. The funny thing is, my therapist wanted me to drink and to smoke pot because that would lower my seizure threshold. You know, this was like something 26 years ago, before the whole CBD oil revolution. They knew back then that smoking marijuana and alcohol could lower my seizure threshold. But my personal convictions was like, I'm done drinking. I promised you I'd never drink, so I wouldn't drink. No drugs, so I didn't drink. I still don't drink. Never did pot again. Frankly, when I see people out drinking, smoking cigarettes, and in the community where I live smoking pot, it's just a turnoff. You know, I'm just like, well, that's habits they want. You know, again, it goes back to the quote my writer friend mentioned on social media this week. 2 types of habits: those that serve you and those that don't. The funny thing is, sometimes we think our bad habits are serving us because we're happy and we're enjoying them, but in the long run, they're not. It's just like with being, I'm gonna get off on a little faith thing, being a Christian. When I decided to get serious about my faith, I had to let go of all my bad habits. All of them. Staying up all night. I mean, seriously, I can remember back then, the only time I ever saw the sunrise was when I was coming home from a party. I mean, I was driving back from Atlanta, where I was with my friends up at Georgia Tech, partying all night. We'd be driving, we'd see the sun coming up. As we're heading this way, it was gorgeous, but that was the only. Now, because of all these new habits and this lifestyle change I have, my favorite time of day is pre-dawn. That time of day when it's dark out, and then all of a sudden you start seeing the sky lighten up. I mean, to me, it's kind of a spiritual awakening. I mean, it's just a spiritual moment because it's the beginning of a new day. That pre-dawn, I mean, and you watch the sunlight chase the darkness away. I mean, before the sun is even up in the sky, you can see the effects of it. So since then, I've been pretty much a morning person. So that's one of those good habits. So now I like getting up early, start my day off early while it's still at old dark 30, as my father would say. And getting breakfast done, getting my dishes washed, getting the bed made, getting ready for the day, cleaned up, doing something physical. I used to jump rope outside. It'd be 18 degrees and I'm outside jump roping after breakfast. But now that I've gotten older, I've gotten some health issues that have come from the jump roping, so I've cut back and I've tried to change it up with less intense activities. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about this month, which is habit. So let's think as we go into the new year, think about the habits you have and the habits you want to have. Yeah, it's going to be hard, but remember the time frame, 6 to 8 weeks minimum. Once you get past that, it starts to become more ingrained in your brain and second nature. So that's the science behind habits. So I hope everybody's having a great new year. I'm going to get off here. I will see y'all in 30 days. Happy New Year.